title. One thing, though, for the Minnesota Vikings, they are being penalized a lot, 22 times more than their opposition. This has to change if the Vikings are to be successful in the second half of the season. Down on the field is our partner, Lynn Swan, and he's got the head man for the Vikes, Dennis Green.
Thank you very much, Dan. Dan's already talked about how the Chicago Bears make you a little nervous because they know how to beat your football team. What specifically makes you nervous about them?
Well, I think the fact that we have not been playing as well on offense, and that's something we have to do. We're 7-3 against the Chicago Bears. When we win against Chicago Bears, we have very good offensive productivity. That's what we need tonight.
You want to stop the run, but at the same time, if you do that, you force him to go to their strength, Curtis Conway. How do you get it accomplished?
Well, I think you got to stop the run. Their strength is running the football with the big physical offensive linemen. I think we got to take him out of the run game, turn it into a wide-open offensive game.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck to you tonight. Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. So the Metrodome in downtown Minneapolis, the site for this game, which marks the halfway point of the season for each of these two teams. As Todd Sauerbrunn gets set to kick off, he's had a fine year punted in. Good offensive line. Stussy, McDaniel, Christie, Jarek, and Stringer. Randall McDaniel, the left guard, 64, has started the last 7 Pro Bowls. And they begin in a double tight end set. Put Greg DeLong in motion and give it to Robert Smith, who tries to cut it back, and a good tackle by Marty Carter, the safety, who penetrates to stop him as he takes the handoff. Defensively now, Spellman, Simpson, Flanagan, and Fontenot. Zorich was hurt in preseason, gone for the season. The linebackers on the outside, Kane and Smith, and in the inside, Brian Cox, picked up in the offseason from Miami. Walt Harris, their #1 draft choice from Mississippi State, and Wolford at the corners. Carter and Carrier, a very good pair of safeties. And on 2nd down 9, Minnesota has to take a timeout. So a stumbling offensive start.
I can't believe you gave me. See, that's what happens every time you do coke, man. That's what happens. I swear to God.
Hey, wait a minute, man.
Every time.
Yeah, every time I do coke, you get on that every time I do coke.
That's right, man. It goes straight to your brain, man. It messes it up, man. You're not gonna have a brain no more, man.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of smart dudes do coke, man.
Yeah, like who?
Like Sherlock Holmes does coke, and he isn't so stupid.
Sherlock Holmes? Well, come on, Sherlock. Let's go find our money, man. God damn, you gave him all our money. I can't believe it.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I hope she has a friend for me.
For your sake, I hope she does too, partner.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. I mean, ladies.
Bye-bye. Those are the ugliest chicks I ever saw in my life.
10, 13, and 14 points, their offensive production the last 3 games. I'd say that's trouble scoring.
2nd down and 9 now from the 25-yard line on the game's opening drive. And Moon's first pass complete. Jake Reed hauls it in. That's a first down. He's tackled by Wolford. It's a gain of 11 up to the 36.
Donnell Wolford is a great cover man, but he's only 5'9", and these outside receivers for Minnesota. And Jake Reed is 6'3". Chris Carter is 6'3". Donnell Wolford, who didn't play last week because of a hamstring injury, could have a very busy night tonight because Walt Harris, the rookie first-round draft pick for the Bears, on the other side is a little bigger, a little stronger, and he is really turning into a good corner.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Moon with a short drop and then throws a quick out. That's caught by Jake Reed on the other side. And there is Walt Harris to push him out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It's a gain of, call it 7 up to the 43.
You mentioned Walt Harris, Frank. There's a good look at what type of closure he has. He's giving Reed a pretty good cushion, but once the ball's in the air, look how quickly he's on him and launches himself into Reed. That's a good attacking style of a tackle by Walt Harris. He's got some size, though. He's up in that 195-pound range.
2nd and 3. Vikings at their own 43. And Moon locks in again on Jake Reed as he tries to hit him with his 3rd pass in a row. Incomplete here. Harris again with the coverage. It'll be 3rd and 3.
I think it's about this time, Frank, that Chris Carter says, okay, enough of that. I've been a decoy for 3 plays. You can throw it my way now.
Well, actually, Reed was open, and Moon just didn't deliver the ball.
Chris Carter had 122 receptions last year. He's not on that type of a pace coming into this game. He's caught 38, but he wants the ball coming his direction every time.
3rd and 3. They have Amp Lee, the third down back in the slot, and Robert Smith in the backfield, and they give it to Smith on a draw, and he gets knocked down at the 45-yard line, very close to a first down. Tackled there by Barry Minter. As we pull back, you can see where the marker is, and the spot, they'll spot it just across the 45-yard line, the nose of the ball on the green, but they appear to be a little short. There is Chris Zorich, the defensive tackle. We spoke of him earlier, hurt in preseason, gone for the season. As he looks on, you can see where they spot the ball. They had to get it about 6 more inches for a first down.
I would call that an absolutely perfect spot by the officiating crew. That is the exact spot where the ball touched the ground.
And Tom White, the referee tonight, showing you just how much they need. And it's too early to gamble, so in comes the punting unit.
Boy, the crowd sure is in a gambling mood, aren't they? They're booing.
This is Halloween.
Whoa. They're a little testy here in Minneapolis. They're booing the Vikings already for not going for a first down from their own 45. A little bold this early in the ballgame.
Mitch Berger to punt. Berger averaging 41.1 this year. About 2 yards less than the league average. And Bobby Ingram, the Penn State rookie wide receiver. It's a wobbly kick, bouncing at the 25-yard line, but it takes a terrific Minnesota hop. And the Vikings down it at the 11-yard line. Hardly a thing of beauty, but 46 yards. It worked last season. Only one this year are the safeties. 2nd and 1 from the 21-yard line, and Salam has trouble getting started and gets taken down at the line of scrimmage by Orlando Thomas. And there's some question as to how healthy Salam is as he gets into it with Thomas. Rashawn keeps telling Wannstedt he's fine, but nobody in Chicago really believes him. He started the season, as you look at Robert Green, who's also hurt, Rashawn with knee and hamstring injuries, and he just doesn't have it so far.
In the final preseason game against Kansas City, he went down with the knee and a hamstring, and he's been slow coming back. At least you saw him covering up the football there. That's been one of his big problems.
But don't you get the impression if he'd have just lowered his shoulder, he would have picked up a first down?
3rd and 1. The Vikings have been very tough on 3rd and 1 this year. Not this time. Salam gets a big hole and exploits it and gets tackled by Griffith as he breaks one off the right side, and a first down at the 34.
I think that was Salam jumping up and down and say, hey, I can do it, I can do it. And maybe he just really kind of needs a couple of plays to assure himself that he can do it.
Well, he gets a great down block by Big Cat Williams, and then a good trap by Todd Perry, the other guard.
But a good burst, too, right through the hole. That's what he needed.
This is a fine offensive line for the Chicago Bears. They led the league with the fewest number of sacks last year, and they've become a very effective run blocking unit.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. Fake draw, and then Craig gets buried by Robert Griffith on a safety blitz.
Very timely blitz by the Vikings. Bears had 3 men in the pattern. They just could not account for all of them, and Griffith was all alone.
It's play action passing. Watch the fake to the right. When the blitz comes from the backside of a play action pass, it is a perfect blitz. There was no one to account for Griffith. That's just a beautifully called play by Foge Fazio. And bad luck for the Bears that they were play actioning away from the blitz.
On 2nd and 17, Salam tries to penetrate the middle, and Derek Alexander has him in a neck hold.
Boy, that's a strange call on 2nd and 17. Not even a draw play, not even a fake of a pass. You hand off. Very conservative on the part of Dave Wannstedt.
Nine and a half minutes left in the opening quarter. No score.
It's a simple handoff, and
Derek
Alexander crashing down the line right there.
Not a real big defensive end. He's tall and rangy, but at 270 pounds, not a lot of lead in his pants. It all has to be quickness and movement with a guy that light.
Third down and 16. A lot of ground to pick up. Craig going deep, and it is picked off as the pass hung, and it's intercepted by Orlando Thomas. Conway got a step on the corner, but Thomas with a responsibility to go over and help out, and that's exactly what he did. With 8:58 to go in the quarter, Minnesota has the ball.
The coverage and getting the interception on 3rd and long.
Now the Vikings have the ball for the second time, and Moon hits Chris Carter, who makes his first catch of the night. Chris picks up 4 to the 35-yard line. Craig on the phone to Turner with 8:54 to go in the first quarter. No score, and another look at the interception by Orlando Thomas.
Well, one thing Orlando brings to the table, only a second-year player, is great range, and really no problem at all for him to get to the deep outside. Corey Fuller, number 27, played it beautifully. He knew he had help deep, and Orlando Thomas he was just where he was supposed to be. That's just a bad read by Dave Craig throwing into that coverage.
Without the help, Fuller might have got it.
2nd and 5. Vikings from the 36-yard line, and this is Amp Lee with a flag down. First penalty of the game as Lee takes it to the 37-yard line.
Well, there's Alonzo Spellman, a very excitable player for the Chicago Bears. He's bumping heads and talking stuff
Against the Vikings for holding. So they'll march Minnesota back, and we can tell you that Monday Night Football from Minneapolis is being brought to you by Nicotrol. 6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol. Coca-Cola and the NFL Red Zone for fans who eat football, sleep football, and drink Coca-Cola. Taco Bell, there's nothing ordinary about it. Taco Bell. And Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Vikings backed up to their own 26-yard line. The call was against the guard, John Jurek. And it makes it 2nd down and 15 from the 26-yard line. Moon stepping away, pumps twice, and then finds Jake Reed, who gets open, and Reed takes it to the Chicago 37-yard line.
Donnell Wolford on the coverage again. He was caught in that twilight zone, too, of Warren Moon rolling out.
And another thing, when you said Warren Moon rolling out, the bye week really helped Warren Moon. He's been having ankle problems. His mobility has really been cut down. The bye came at a good time for Warren. Double pumps it, but on the move and on the move effectively.
Donnell Wolford caught him between the rock and the hard place. Do I come up and try to cover Warren Moon? Warren Moon pump fakes it. By the time he tried to recover, it was the completion.
No score, 7:45 to play in the first quarter. On first down, Robert Smith gets tackled by Brian Cox, who came knifing through. Brian picked up not only for what he can do physically, but as Dave Wannstedt went after him very hard, recruited him in the offseason as an unrestricted free agent for what he could bring to the club emotionally. And it's a two-sided coin with Brian. He brings you a lot of positive stuff. He also brings you the type of stuff that gets him fined $80 grand.
He comes with baggage, but he also comes with a real nose for the football, and you saw a good look at it right there. He knows when to cut behind a block. It's the easiest way for a linebacker to take himself out of a play, cutting behind a block, but Cox does it often, and he does it successfully.
2nd and 10, and Moon, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Amp Lee. I think Moon thought he was going to cut off the pattern 2 or 3 yards before he actually did. 3rd down.
He just kind of got rid of that football, but you touched on something that's kind of important about Warren Moon, Dan. He had that week off. He's had trouble since the very beginning of the season with an ankle and a foot injury. And at 40 years old, you just don't, almost 40 years old, you just don't heal up that quickly. And he had that chance to get well, and he's ready to do what he did a year ago, and that is have a great second half of the season.
3rd and 10. Brian Billick had the look of a guy whose offense didn't have everybody on the same page. And Alonzo Spellman comes across the line and dumps Moon and then takes a shot. Well, that Andrew Jordan.
And that should be, if that's a flag against Spellman, Alonzo better watch it. You just can't headbutt somebody like that. That'll bring a flag if somebody sees you do that. Not sure if there was movement in the Viking offensive line or not.
Bob Slowick, the Chicago defensive coordinator, the man on the right.
Spellman has been drawn off sides a lot this year.
And Warren Moon is good at it. He gives you a good hard count. Very noisy with it.
Jeff Christie, the center, didn't move.
Encroachment on a nose guard on the defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Headbutt number 90.
Well,
15 yards. First down.
they did see the headbutt. I wasn't sure if they saw it or not. It was right in front of everybody. There it is. Andrew Jordan, the tight end, just gives Spellman a little tap on the shoulder. We saw the umpire throw his hat. The reason he threw his hat is that he already thrown his flag for the encroachment penalty. He was running out of things to toss.
Could have been down to his shoes. No love lost between these teams.
Oh, the double whammy on Alonzo Spellman. Boy, you got to keep your cool. First quarter, big ball game on the road. Don't let your emotions get the better of you.
It marches Minnesota down to the Bears' 23-yard line with 6:59 left in a scoreless first quarter. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Amp Lee in the backfield, and the pass is underthrown, intended for Jake Reed as Walt Harris came up for the coverage. 2nd down and 10.
That's the second time, Frank, working the left side of the field that there's either been an underthrown pass by Moon or a miscommunication.
What they do like to do down here, and they get in close inside the 25. They love to go to the fade route.
Sims and Steve DeBerg had at it in 1993. Craig 38, Moon 39, and Warren, the ageless wonder, throws, and that's caught by Chris Carter, and he's tackled immediately by Donnell Wolford. And that'll set up a 3rd and long.
Certain key plays, they're moving Donnell around to take Chris Carter in a man-for-man situation.
On the 23-yard line, here come the Bears. Moon hangs in the pocket, and the throw at the 12-yard line is ruled incomplete. Chris Carter went down to get it, but it hits the AstroTurf. 4th down.
Carter was there, and Moon just delivered it a little low. Being very careful with it over the middle. Looking up and see if he can see the replay, and Carter almost had it, never did control it.
So it's a 41-yard field goal attempt to try to get Minnesota on the scoreboard here. Scott Sisson took over for the retired Fuad Reveiz with Mitch Berger to hold. 41-yard field goal attempt. And Sisson bangs it through with 5:53 left in the opening quarter.
Remarkable run of 7 straight years atop the NFC West remains the benchmark for divisional domination. From 1973 through 79, the Rams won the West with young Turks and old pros and capped a decade of domination.
Led them to a win the next week against Atlanta and has played sparingly since. But Brad, with his team down by 2, starts this drive by handing the ball to Charles Evans, who takes it up to the 13-yard line. Brad Johnson, his number is right there, and he's trying to guide a team that is used to coming from behind. The Vikings this season have won 3 games in which they've trailed going into the 4th quarter, and another in which they were tied going into the 4th, that against Chicago.
Johnson's a big one, 6'5", 220 pounds, a 9th-round draft pick in '92 out of Florida State.
2nd and 5. Here come the Bears, and they pick up the blitz, and the catch is made up at the 16 by Amp Lee, but short of the 1st down. Tackled by Marty Carter.
And it goes with the territory. You bring a quarterback in with as little experience as Brad Johnson has had. First thing you do, you find out if he can deal with the blitz. We'll see that a couple of times. He handled that rather well.
Cox gets picked up partially by Jeff Christie, the center. See, he gets a piece of him at the last minute, just enough to kick him sideways.
3rd and 3 with 3 receivers set to the left side. He comes to Qadry Ismail the other way and picks up the 1st down.
Boy, and Joe Kane is arguing that he was still alive as he was moving backwards, but the official ruled that his forward progress came to a halt and blew the play dead there. Ismail certainly was acting like he heard the whistle as he just backpedaled out of bounds.
Fontenot almost got a hand on that. Bears defensive end.
Minnesota 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Johnson guns one to Ant Lee. That's a 12-yard gain in the first down with 10:04 left in the fourth quarter, and the Bears up by 2. And Vincent Smith goes nuclear.
Did they throw a flag?
He's acting like they did.
He is. I can't see one. But Vincent Smith certainly acting like one was thrown.
There was a flag thrown. Now the question is, did one official have a better angle and will overrule the flag here?
I don't know.
He hardly brutalized him.
Ooh, did he touch that official right there?
That's not good.
There's no infraction on the play. The player fell down. There was no unnecessary roughness. Down.
Well, I think that is a very good non-call. I think we'd all agree that Vincent Smith did not attack the receiver. Where he almost blew it was making contact with an official after the play was over.
Well, that's still reviewable over the coming week.
1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Short drop. Jake Reed continues a big as Reed makes his 9th catch.
Now this happened back.
Somebody's going to get thrown out of the game.
This happened back. This had nothing to do with the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Put his thumb up, and that would indicate somebody's going.
This was something that was said.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 55. Defense. It's a 15-yard penalty.
Did he say he was disqualified?
He does. Yeah, he is. He's gone. So they pick up the flag on Smith on the previous play, but obviously he's still heated on the next play.
Let's take a look at this. In the middle of our screen is Joe Kane. Vincent Smith, rather. Oh, he gets leveled. He gets leveled. Is that Smith that got leveled at the conclusion of that play? And he goes right to the referee. I couldn't see which one of the Vikings it was that dropped him.
Well, if he got leveled on that play, he must have made contact with the referee or said something subsequent to it. First down at the 45-yard line as Johnson sets up the screen. Ant Lee gets a nice block, chased by Cox, and Ant Lee takes it deep into Chicago territory, and a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, if they don't bring it back, that's about as pretty a screen as you would ever want to see, and I think they are going to bring it back.
He took it to the 20-yard line, but everybody's coming back to midfield, holding against the Vikings. Nullifies a 25-yard gain.
The Vikings continue to shoot themselves in the foot with the flags.
Holding. Number 64. Offense. It's a 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Randy McDaniel, the best in the business. Started the last 7 Pro Bowls as McDaniel. I've heard you refer to him, Dan, as just about as good as they get. He gets the flag.
Ball back at the 45-yard line.
I don't know how much better a guy can be when you start 7 consecutive Pro Bowls.
Johnson throws, and somehow it's caught by Carter.
Oh, he took that away from Wolford.
42-yard line.
Chris Carter just took that away from Donnell Wolford. Wolford had it in his sights. He still can't believe it. Chris Carter, big, strong, athletic receiver. Watch Donnell Wolford. He thought he had an interception here. Driving on the ball. Carter says it's mine, babe.
Boy, he can get more done with one hand. All right, here is at the end of the play. Vincent Smith, 55. He goes up to that official and he says something. He says something to Tom White right there that gets. He was going up to protest the fact that he was hit. What he thought was after the play.
As Johnson on 2nd down and 7 unloads. And it's incomplete, intended for Jake Reed. Walt Harris staying with him for 10 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you, a quarterback has a great luxury with these two big receivers, Reed on one side, Carter on the other. They can throw it up when they have to get rid of the football into coverage, and they know that their guy has a pretty good shot at coming down with it.
.8:19 left in the 4th, and here was Vincent Smith trying to plead his case with Wanstead.
Well, I'm sure that he feels completely victimized here. He feels that what started this was a late hit against the Vikings.
3rd and 7. Johnson under duress hits Ant Lee, and Minifield has him by the ankle. The ball is loose at the 36-yard line.
The Vikings recover it.
They have it, but it's a little short of the first down.
This will be an interesting call for the Vikings if they are indeed in possession and a little short.
They will be. It'll be 4th and 1, and if you're looking at a field goal here, it's 54 yards for Sisson. With 7:40 left in the 4th quarter. Running off and on the field, and Chicago has to take a timeout. Looks on from the sideline. Short 2 they need on 4th down. And they get it on a pass to Carter. They get 3. Chris Carter bumped out by Marty Carter.
And well delivered by Brad Johnson. Gutsy call and a good one. You go to your clutch receiver. Even though he's had a little problem, little crossing pattern there. One time or another you might have called that a pick, but they don't call it a pick anymore. Very effective crossing pattern.
Brad Johnson 7 out of 8 for 49 yards on this drive. Stumbles, then a 2-hand flip forward into the arms of Charles Evans, who turns it into a 4-yard gain. A different variation of the old Lee Gross Cup shovel pass right there.
That one got shot right between 2 defenders. Pretty heads-up play by Brad Johnson. Not sure that's the way Brian Billick threw it. Johnson stumbles, almost goes down.
He had a rough time on this play.
No, I do not think that's the way they worked on it all week.
The old medicine ball routine. 2nd down and 6 from the 29-yard line. Ant Lee for a couple to the 27, setting up another critical 3rd down call here.
Boy, he was whacked by Brian Cox there. Well, you could hear that one rumbling on the
yard line. 5:45 left in the 4th. And they go to Reed this time. The same play in which Carter picked up the 1st down. Same side of the field. This time it's Jake for the 1st. He beats Walt Harris.
Harris even laying off on that. He knew exactly the yardage that Reed had to pick up. Just playing a little loose. And a good delivery there by Brad Johnson.
The Vikings being successful throwing the football, even though they have no running game to speak of. With the loss of Robert Smith, they're having to do it almost entirely through the air.
Reed with a career high 10 catches, and now this is Graham for a couple. Scotty Graham down to the 15-yard line. Next week, Oakland is the site. The Raiders have won 3 straight. Jeff Hostetler looked terrific last Monday night against San Diego, against the red-hot Denver Broncos, who blew the Chiefs away yesterday. John Elway, the brilliant young running back Terrell Davis and company. Broncos Raiders from Oakland next Monday night.
I'm not sure John Elway has ever played football better than he's playing it this year.
Unbelievable. 2nd down and 7 at the 15-yard line. Kane jumps back onside, but a flag goes down before the snap.
I think Kane's going to say that he got David Frisch, the tight end, to flinch. This has been a busy night for Tom White and his gang.
False start. Moving prior to snap. Number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
When in doubt, he calls number 80.
Yeah.
Tom White.
It had to do with an 8.
That's right. Conway on one side, Carter on the other. Chip Myers in consultation right there with David Frisch.
4 wides now for Minnesota. Here comes the
blitz. Jailbreak, and they knock down Amp Lee as Marty Carter tackles him at the 26. Boy, you can see everybody in a white shirt coming.
A quick screen to the outside. He might have had a lot of success.
Here they come again.
And there goes Torrey Stringer.
Saw the big right tackle move.
False start. Number 77 offense. Moving prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And they're getting into field goal range trouble.
The bottom of your screen. Not a hard one to call.
That was Marty Carter jumping up there from his safety position. Torrey Stringer straightened up, got the flag.
Makes it 3rd and 22. They've been pushed back to the 30. 15th play of the drive. 4 minutes to go. And his arm is hit, and it's incomplete at the 26-yard line. Brian Cox came in and hit Johnson's arm. And now on 4th down and 22, in comes Scott Sisson to attempt what will be about a 48-yard field goal. 9 for 9 this season in the 4th quarter.
The 2 penalties were very costly and very disturbing for this young man.
It'll be a 48-yarder. Berger to put it down. And Sisson has it blocked. It's blocked by Walt Harris. And then Donnell Wolford picks it up. The rookie #1 draft choice from Mississippi State, a guy they traded up to get as a cornerback, makes the biggest play of the game on special teams.
Well, what a night for the Chicago Bears and their special teams. Danny Abramowitz has to be up in the clouds. They block a punt for a safety, and now they block a critical field goal. Huge night so far for the Bears on their special teams.
Bears just overloading the right side.
You had Harris and you had Carter behind him.
Harris got it.
Yep.
Harris got it with his left hand.
And if he didn't get it, Carter would have gotten it. They had 2 guys in there.
Minifield got the punt. Harris got the field goal.
From the 44-yard line on 1st down, I'm trying to eat some of the clock. Raymond Harris picks up a yard or so. Walt Harris, busy night.
Guess that makes up for a couple of those 1st down completions in front of him on that drive.
He's a really fine athlete. He's going to turn into a superb cornerback. There's no question about that. They've got a real good one.
When he's playing this well with this much poise as a rookie, you can only wonder how far he's going to go in this league.
2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. Craig under pressure throws, and of all things has it intercepted by Jason Fisk.
John Randall. Boy, did he get in the Bears backfield in a hurry.
And so the
tackle in the NFL. Boy, does he explode. He's the 2nd guy from the top. He takes the outside on the rookie Valerio, and he hits Dave Craig's right arm as he throws that football. And Jason Fisk comes up with it. He does a nice job concentrating on it. Pretty good for a defensive tackle. But again, all John Randall.
There have been better play calls in the history of the National Football League than that one. Trying to take some time off the clock on a 2nd and 10, and apparently trying to set up a middle screen.
You know, Fisk had a broken hand and just got a cast taken off his hand. That was a timely cast removal.
First down, Minnesota at the 49-yard line. They have all of their timeouts and the 2-minute stoppage. And Johnson throws in his double coverage downfield. Reed, the intended receiver. Monday Night Football from Minneapolis is being brought to you by the complete line of 1997 Lincoln and Mercury automobiles. Pennzoil Motor Oil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance standard. Brewery Fresh Bud Light reminds you that fresh beer tastes better. And Southwest Airlines, with fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. 2nd and 10, 2:57 to go. Bears lead 15-13. Pressure. Slings it incomplete, and Chris Carter drops it and then kicks it.
He was frustrated. Brad Johnson, he got the blitz picked up. They protected him real well. Carter was wide open. He read the blitz, and Brad Johnson just threw it too low to handle. Good pickup. Steps back up. Carter's wide open. Throws the ball too low to handle.
3rd down 10 now from the 49 of the Bears. Only a 3-man rush this time. So Johnson with a ton of time and finds the open man. Jake Reed at the 32-yard line. Catch number 11 for Reed. Career high.
Right now in Chicago, they're saying, oh, great, the prevent defense.
And Reed still down.
He held on to the football. He knew he was going to get hammered, and he did, but he really got twisted.
Brad Johnson had all the time he wanted back in the pocket. The Bears not even close to getting a sniff with only the 3-man rush. And Reed gets hit by 3 different people.
Carter, Minter, and Marshall.
Yep. Ooh, and he got his right leg caught.
Leg twisted back underneath him.
Sure did.
And that's the one they're looking at.
The artificial surface very unforgiving when a foot is caught back underneath like that. The grip is pretty solid.
Injury timeout with 2:36 left in the 4th. Provided by Goodyear as we look at downtown Minneapolis. Those skyscrapers not far from the Metrodome, which right now watches the Vikings. This big crowd, 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Jake Reed assisted off the field. And this is Charles Evans probing the middle and picking up a yard to the 30. And this is going to take us down to the 2-minute warning as they work on Jake Reed, who's had 11 catches tonight for 153 yards. 2 minutes to go in Minneapolis, where the Bears try to hold on.
Costly 5 yards.
And Johnson now fumbles as he gets sacked at the 35-yard line. The ball was knocked out by Brian Cox. It's the 2nd time Cox has extracted the football from the quarterback in the last couple of minutes, and the Bears clearly indicating they have it, though no signal yet from the officials. Now we have one. Brian Cox with his biggest play as a Bear.
Boy, he stayed with it.
Stripped it there.
Yep. He jumped around the block of Charles Evans, stayed with it.
And he gets in, fights for it, pulls it.